Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Saka here with another episode of NASCAR Racing 2003 season. We are at the D-shaped 2-mile oval of Michigan. Very fast speeds, a lot of room to maneuver, and should be really fun. California boded well for both Brandon and I, and as the Michigan is its sister track, I'm guessing we'll be doing fairly well. We're starting on the inside groove here behind Mike Skinner in this 2000 mod, and the inside definitely seems to be the ideal line, but Michigan, we can move around, we can go to the top, we can go to the bottom. It's wherever our car feels the best at. Projected laps in the tank are 12, and this is a 20-lap race, so we have to make it to at least the halfway point before we pit, and we will do one pit stop for fuel as we are doing our 4X tire wear and fuel consumption. Let's get ready for the green flag. We are on the bottom row here. We're clutching in a little bit to save as much fuel as we can to make it there. Pace car is off, and we are ready to get going. Pace car is in, looking for that green flag. We are racing. Green flag is in the air. You see Brandon there in front of us in the 28 Texaco Havoline car as usual. He goes to the bottom. Let's go under the bottom of Skinner. We have a really good run here. A cluster on the high side, and whoa, they're in the wall. I saw Tony Stewart backwards. That is going to bring out a caution. We are racing back to the line, so I will try to beat Mark Martin here as best I can, but a lap one crash early, and that is not exactly what those guys were looking for. We managed to get away unscathed, but this is going to set us up for a lap one yellow flag. All right, let's get a run on Mark Martin here, see if we can catch him. We don't have the pull, and we will be under yellow. I'm going to clutch in here, save as much fuel as I can, because we can run a couple laps under yellow and definitely make it to the halfway mark. It is still way too early to pit, so I will speed this up times 12 and see you back for the restart. All right, coming back to the green, pace car is off. We are back single file behind Mark Martin. Let's try to get a good start here, not spin the tires, and see if we can get a good launch into turn one. Here we go, green flag is in the air. A pretty good start for us. We're under Mark Martin already. Let's see if we can get underside Jeff Burton to make it 3 wide. The leaders are right there, Dale Jarrett and Dale Earnhardt. Brandon is there in third, and you can see those skid marks up top from Tony Stewart and company. We're going to clear Jeff Burton outside of turn 2 and settle into fourth. Now this is where we need to start thinking about when to come down pit road. With 15 laps to go, essentially we can run 5 more laps or so to make it, all the way. But we could short pit in just a few laps and really stretch it, or we can run 9 more laps and come down with only, 5 laps to go, which isn't exactly what is ideal. The tires here are falling off a little bit, Wow, these guys on the bottom are getting a pretty good run. Brandon's holding station there in the middle. Let's see if we can get drive off and get back under Mark Martin and Jeff Burton. Turn 1 was a little sketchy for me. The car is neutral to neutral loose. You can see right there, sliding it into turn 3. It's easy to catch, but then easy to overdrive. And then once you can get from center off, it's easy to power down. We just need to clear Mark Martin so we can get a run on Jeff Burton. And we do have some help in our mirror, which is helpful, but not exactly ideal that Mark is just hanging out there. We should clear him going into turn 1 here. Nope, he's putting the fender to us, but now he rolls back and we can set sights on Jeff Burton. Down the backstretch now, I believe we are going to pit in 3 more laps. We want to come down past the halfway mark so we know absolutely sure that is our 1 stop of the race. And of course, 4 tires is going to be the call, as we're going to need a lot of fuel in this bad boy, and we might as well take the tires since we're going to be waiting on fuel if we do just right sides. I think it would be in our best interest to take 4. Massive redlining going into turn 1 here. The engine is tuned and ready to go. We're on the Jasper setup that came stock with the game, and it is tuned to a very high quality. I might push the engine temps up just a bit, but not too concerned about that. A lot of RPMs down here on the back straightaway, and we can see the leaders right there. They're fighting amongst themselves. Brandon to the lead, and it looks like Earnhardt and Jarrett are fighting back to the outside. That is going to be an interesting battle to watch all day, but we only have a few more laps to go before pit stops. We don't know when the AI is going to decide to come down, so we need to be mindful of anybody slow on the bottom of the racetrack or someone who will just exactly slam on the brakes when they're coming to their pit stop. I'm watching Jeff Burton here. We're starting to get into the window, and this is when the AI needs to make a decision. When are they going to come down pit road? Looks like Jeff might not be pitting this time. He's riding that higher line. He's 1 lane up, so he is not coming to pit road this time, so we'll follow him on through. But if we see him hugging that white line, we need to be a little more cautious around him, take the high lane or possibly go around one more time. 10 laps to go is our halfway mark now, so should be this time we're going to come down pit road and get 4 tires and fuel, essentially cutting the race directly in half and giving us the best possible tires for the longest time. We needed to run green the rest of the way though and cycle through. If we get put a lap down and the caution comes out, then we'll be tail end of the lead lap. We'll be starting in front of the leaders, but we'll have 2 miles to go. Here we come down to the apron. I'm not going to downshift until we're pretty much in a straight line here, and we need 4,000 in second gear. I was a little bit too conservative there, but Brandon and I are on pit road, and we seem to be the only one, so we're going to force these guys to come down pit road. Essentially, our lap times should be much better than the AI's. Looking left here, we're pitting, and it looks like Ryan Newman's pit board was down. Ryan will be pitting behind us, and 4 tires and fuel here. Come on, boys, let's make it a clean stop. We did hit our board, and we did hit our marks. Terry Labonte is in, and these pit stalls are nice and big, so we don't have to worry about being boxed in by anybody. Looks like Ryan Newman has dropped and gone, which tells me that the AI is thinking 2 tires here, because Ryan was not in his pit box when I got there, and he left before us, so he did something differently. So that means we have to make the best use of these 4 tires that we can. We'll blend off the back stretch and pass turn 2, get up to speed as quickly as we can, and then take no prisoners. We're under 10 laps to go, and we need to put down as many flyers as we can with Brandon right in front of us here. Let's see if we can get a pull onto the back straightaway. The straightaway is clear. Now let's go hard. The leaders should start pitting anytime soon, so we will bide our time and follow Brandon here and see if we can start catching up to the traffic. Yep, the leader's on pit road now, and let's just watch our positions here, see if we can get positions back. And we've got cars on the apron already. We're passing them 4 positions, so putting them behind us very quickly. Brandon scraping in that corner, just digging and getting as much as we can out of it. These are free positions that we're making up here, and since we pitted from the front of the pack, we should merge up to the front of the pack in a perfect world. Oh, looks like Brandon has to go to the high lane here. I'm going to stick to the bottom. I think Kenseth is going to block Newman. They're going to go to the high lane. We'll go ahead and go around them as if they were standing still. And Brandon got a good launch off turn 3 there. We lost a little bit of ground to him, but we're almost back inside the top 10. And I've got a good feeling that now pit stops will be cycled through. Everyone who needs to pit will have pitted, and then we can just take it from here and pick off any positions on the track. My main concern as Brandon goes 3 wide up there is that the leaders all took 2 tires. Like if the entire AI batch took 2 tires, we were essentially 5 seconds behind where we were going to be. So, I mean, 6 on one hand, half dozen on the other. You can see our speed difference as we come off the turn, putting Sterling Marlin 1 position back. That's a 10th place run right there. And we've still got plenty more to go. Let's see if we can get under Gordon. Nope. Gordon's going to come down, but we will take the high lane. We've got plenty of time to do it, plenty of grip in these tires to get it done. And let's follow Mike Skinner and try to make that pass for position. We really need to keep our eyes out of the windshield and out, looking through the windshield and out of the mirror, I mean, because the laps are going to tick by here very quickly. Out of the way, Mike. So we need to make up as many spots as we possibly can. We'll catch a draft off Bobby Labonte here. Get that pull. Yep, we made up a few more spots there, and the engine is singing. We are putting everything down that we possibly can. At this point, I believe the leaders are going to be about a second slower than us. So, with this many laps to go, we've got, 5 laps to go. So we need to we can make up 5 seconds. And, 5 seconds at Michigan is quite a distance because of how fast this place truly is. It'll be a tough order. Brandon can't afford to be blocked there. So he goes to the bottom. We'll start sniffing Jarrett and making a move. And I think going into turn 1, those dots way up there are the leaders. So we can see them. We're in 6th place here, only 5 cars in front of us. This is digging time. We have to make the most out of this. Let's drive harder than we've driven so far today. See if we can click off our fastest laps of the day. Jarrett will help us pull, but it looks like Brandon is going to be gone. Now, if the leaders, we're definitely reeling in the leaders. They are much bigger out of the windshield. Will we have enough time to get up there, though? I don't want Jarrett to slow me down, but we can get a good pull off of him here on the front straightaway. Probably get him into turn 1. I will make that decision when we get up there. We're going to be coming with a head of steam, that's for sure. And I think those 2 cars in the middle of turn 1 and 2 now are the leaders. So we're within striking distance. 3 laps to go, though. It's going to be tight. We need to get around Jarrett, carry the speed to the outside. Don't cut me off, man. All right, he stays to the bottom. We'll get that pull, and we'll be side by side going in turn 3. However, well, maybe not. He rolled out of it nice and early. We'll use this momentum to our advantage on this high lane. And if Brandon can get side by this car in front of us, he may be able to bring that car back to us. But these 4 cars in front of us are the leaders, and it's going to come down to the nitty-gritty, that is for sure. Yeah, let's get a pass past Mark Martin as best we can. We were behind him on that restart, so a good sum gain now that we're catching Mark and the leaders are side by side. This is what we need to see coming to the white flag. If the leaders stay side by side like this, it's going to slow them both down, and with us coming on new tires, they're in our windshield. They are getting big, and this place you can get a big draft and a big pull. Let's go for broke as best we can here. Under Mark Martin, white flag is in the air, 1 lap to go. Does Brandon have enough to get up there? Do we have enough to get up there? If Brandon does catch him off the backstretch and make him 3 wide in that 3rd turn, it may come back to us. It really depends on what we've got. Let's run this as fast as we can here, get the pull from Brandon. The leaders are going back 2 wide again. This is going to be close, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a feeling they are right here. Let's dig as hard as we can. Back to the gas now. And come on, engine work. Brandon scraping to the bottom. He's behind. Going under Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt at the line. Will be 4th. Oof, who won that one? That was insane. Yellow flag is out. Cloud in front of us. Looks like there was a wreck for us coming to the caution, but I don't see any wrecked vehicles, so someone has crashed on the very last lap. That's terrible, but let's take a look at those leaders. Let's cycle up here. Earnhardt with the win, Jeff Burton and Brandon, and the times did not auto-update. It didn't look like they were tied, but maybe they did? We're going to have to look at that replay for sure. But a solid 4th place for us. If we had one more lap, that was going to be very interesting. In hindsight, 2 tires was the way to go, so we'll keep that in mind whenever we return to Michigan later. Or do we return to Michigan? We may not. Holy crap, I don't believe we do. Well, dang it. Well, we let that one go. Brandon almost had him another one, which would put him at 5 wins for the year, the outright leader, but Earnhardt's going to get him another one, which is going to tie us as the only other cars with 3 wins. There we go. There's the official interval. And let's see how close that finish actually was. There you go. Dale Earnhardt clearly won the race, and Brandon was pushing hard on Jeff Burton. Just a fender difference between 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. That's what Michigan is all about, ladies and gentlemen, right there. And he's sort of into Jeff Burton. So let's take a look and see who crashed. There's the cloud there. Dave Marcus involved in the last lap crash by the 14 car there. So Dave Marcus minding his own business. He just took the white flag, coming down to 1 lap to go. The little bump by the 14, up the track he goes into turn 1, slams the fence, but we had already finished at that point. Dave Marcus loses a few spots there. Now I'm definitely curious to see who started the lap 1 crash. We saw Tony Stewart up there for sure. Let's take a look at this start here. Oh, and Dale Jr. What is wrong with Dale Earnhardt Jr.? He drops to the bottom before we even went green here. Yeah, coming off turn 4, Dale Jr. says, nah, no, I can't be bothered. Curiouser and curiouser, I had no idea that that was going on. Poor Jr. I wonder where he ended up finishing today. That definitely doesn't bode well for him, but he did stay out of the crash that would happen right here in this gaggle of cars. We have Tony Stewart, Rusty Wallace, and Ward Burton there. And look how close this is. So Brandon's going to make it 4 wide there. Does the AI freak out? No, Brandon's on the bottom. He's holding that line, and there's the squeeze play. Tony Stewart gets turned up into the fence, sliding backwards. Ward Burton has a bad time with it, and Rusty Wallace as well. I believe Ward Burton finished this race dead last, and that's going to be his 2nd DNF of the year. That's a tough road to hold right there. And there, Tony Stewart in the wall, and Rusty Wallace puts Ward Burton in the fence once more. Ward could not get off of him. And these men, wow, that's a lot of cars between us and them. And there was Ward there, and there was Rusty Wallace up the track. So that is ultimately what took Ward Burton out of the race, that hit right there. He gets a little airborne, and that's the end of Ward, and the rest is history. So let's take a look at the chase standings as they are. Brandon is still leading with 4 wins. Earnhardt is tied with myself for 3 wins apiece. Gordon Stewart and Jarrett round out those with winners. Jeff Burton is tremendously ahead of everyone else, 489 points. A little shakeup there between Ward Burton, he's lost some ground, and Johnny Benson and Bill Elliott gained just a little bit. But that's going to do it for me in this episode, ladies and gentlemen, of NASCAR Racing 2003 season. Next week, we're going road racing at Sonoma. So we will see you then. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you in the next NASCAR Racing 2003 season video. Take care.